Hello, Facebook. How are you doing, guys? Welcome to Mind, Body, Bank Account. This is the show that gives you the tools that you need so that you can live the life that you desire. And on today's show, Monday, February 26th, episode 16, I'm super fortunate to be able to steal a little bit of time from a gentleman whose time is extremely, extremely valuable. This is a network marketing guru who's been in the business since '93, and his sales organization span the globe, I believe closing in on close to 1 million distributors with business in 60 plus countries and in the billions in the sales. Please let me welcome Mr. Joe Garcia. Joe, thank you for taking time out of your schedule, my friend.
Hey, Michael, thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me.
And now you're just back in the cool weather since you're off the plains from Peru. Is that correct? You were there for a little while?
Yes. I was down in Peru for 8 days. Beautiful Peru, changing lives of people down there. Very interesting when you go into an emerging market like that and spread the good news.
Yeah, and do you see, I mean, what kind of opportunity do you see in a country like that as opposed to, what we see in typical, Canada and North America? Is it as thriving? Do people embrace opportunity with a little more vigor, or what do you see?
Hey, yeah, that's actually a great question. I actually wrote a book called The Global Manifesto, which I call the global paradigm shift.
Yes.
And, I've been building in my present company here now for 17 years, actually in my 17th year. And I've traveled the world, been more than 53 countries. I've gone in the trenches in places like Russia and China, Eastern Europe, many of the emerging markets. And when the internet came along, Mike, just think about it. The West, Canada, US, and Western Europe basically had the advantages over the rest of the world because of education. The average person was highly educated or more educated than the rest of the world, right? So when you raise the consciousness of people, what happens? They'll figure out the rest. So fast forward now in the internet age, you can be in a small little island off the coast of Africa. And let's say your dream is to become an engineer. You can actually go online in Africa with an internet connection in less than 3 years, become an engineer and do that all for free.
Incredible.
Right? So education is making the world so much smaller. The internet's making the world so much smaller. We can actually communicate with people faster, better, quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And I joke around in the 90s when I was building my business, my biggest expense was the telephone. High 4 figures, sometimes 5 figures a month.
Wow. Yep.
When you had a global business, you had to be on the phone, you had to support people. Today, that's inconsequential.
Right.
Right?
So true.
Because it moved from phone calling to emailing, which was the prime communication, now to text messaging platforms.
Yep.
I would be calling in, when I would travel, I would be calling in my phones, my messages, and I had to clear them every day, right? I'd have all these messages that I had to get back to. Now, I don't need to do that as often anymore because people are getting hold of me text messaging.
Exactly.
Just think about it. In the 60s, when my parents immigrated from Europe to Canada before I was born, when they wanted to communicate with their parents, my grandparents, they had to send a telegram. It would go 4 weeks by ship overseas, right? Another 4 weeks back. So they were communicating with their parents maximum 3 times a year.
Wow.
Now they can go on, Facebook Live,
yeah.
They can go on FaceTime, they can go on Skype video, and they can communicate with their grandkids all over the world just with a snap of a button, right? Just with a click.
That's it.
Mouse click, right? So technology now is allowing us to reach out to people faster, better, quicker. The emerging markets in the next 10 years, as more and more people get online and they're educating themselves, they're connecting with people like me and knowing what's possible.
Right. And the way that you can bring that message to people through that platform.
Correct. So just think about it. In Peru, I'm in Peru, in Lima, Peru, beautiful city. It's, when people haven't traveled to South America, most of the cities globally now are very westernized.
Right.
But once you get outside that city, there's still villages and places that you can go to that has no running water, no electricity, no toilets.
Wow.
I was speaking to a lady down there. Her name is Concepcion, and she got started in the business. And her enroller went to show her the business. He went over to her house with his laptop. He had no juice on his laptop. And he wasn't able to show her the presentation because in her home, she lived in a 16 by 16 home where she had a little stove for her and her son, a toilet, no running water, and no electricity. So he ended up couldn't show her the business. But guess what? She came in with an investment for both her and her son for over $2,000 each.
Wow.
Right? And the business has transformed their lives. This is what's happening in the emerging market. And the biggest thing that the Westerners need to understand is, especially in network marketing, when we go into these markets, people can get started and they can sell a few products and they can make more money just selling a few products a month than they can do in their full-time job.
Right.
Right? That's big, big, big difference. Whereas majority of Westerners, they come into a business, they're starting at part-time. Many of the people that go global that are in these emerging markets go full-time very quickly. And the other biggest thing with the women out there, because a lot of people, when I post my pictures up online and people are looking at me through different social media platforms, they're always asking, why is there so many women? Just think about it. Globally, women are not respected as well as men are in business. Number one,
right.
They're not getting paid the same if they are in business. And number three, they have very little opportunities for women to expand. Number four, there's no recognition. So they gravitate to network marketing and direct sales because we can offer them an opportunity where they can become, there's no ceiling on their income. There's no prejudice against them in business. That's the other thing. And this is a business that they can outperform men 2 to 1, 3 to 1 because of personal development.
Right, exactly.
Right? So we're actually, like this lady in Peru. She lived in a little village, no running water, no electricity. To bathe, they use a bucket, right? She gets into a business and she's made more money here in 4 months than she does in 2 years.
It's incredible.
That's transforming. That is transforming.
It certainly is. And in your experience, so do you find, I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk sometimes, right? And he says, I wish everyone was a foreigner, because he says they just appreciate opportunity. In our Western world, it seems like, we're always complaining about what we don't have. And, whereas someone who hasn't had opportunity, and like you're saying, women in emerging markets, do you find that in some of these, just the desire to take hold of something that is an opportunity is just relished that much more in those areas of the world?
Yeah, in many cases because they have little.
Right.
And we tend to, you look at the Western world, we tend to have Western world problems like, my kid's bike was stolen.
Right.
What am I going to do? And little stuff like that compared to what these people go through.
Right.
Right. Ultimately, what I tell people, for you to be unjaded, for you to grow and develop, for you to become the person you want to become, you got to fall in love with your dream. And you have to have a destination. I always tell people, Mike, I know we're going a little off topic. I may do this.
That's okay.
But there's two spinning discs. There's one up here, and there's one down here. Down here is fear, worry, anger, betrayal, jealousy, small little issues and problems.
Yep.
And up here is prosperity, abundance, being grateful, love. So when you're on this disc, it's not possible to attract the things down here on this disc or the people down here. When you're on this disc, which most of the world is on a consistent basis,
Right.
it's not possible to attract prosperity and abundance in the people that are living up here on this disc. So whether you're in the Western world, or you in Lima, Peru, or you're in Khabarovsk, Russia, right? It's all based on where you're standing in life. Are you grateful? Are you in love with your dream? Are you focused on abundance and prosperity?
Exactly.
Or are you down here where you focused on anger and worry and all these negative emotions,
fear,
right?
and doubt and what everyone else thinks about you and all that negative
So when it comes to
stuff.
opportunity, and this is what I discussed in my global paradigm shift manifesto, is the rest of the world is catching up to the Western world. People are being left behind. The middle class are being squeezed out. We're moving into more of a consultant economy, right?
Yes.
You and I were talking about in Ford, right? The plant that in my hometown, Ford has a plant in my hometown. I remember, 10, 15 years ago, they were paying people to start $30 an hour. Now they're paying people $17 an hour to
That's
start,
correct.
right? But we're paying much more for things today than we did 10, 15 years ago, right?
It's
so
the
the world is
squeeze.
changing very quickly. And we're moving into that entrepreneurial economy because of technology. I was in a seminar a couple of years ago in Germany where the professor shocked the crowd. There was a few thousand people there. And he had shared that in the next 20 years, 95% of jobs will disappear because of technology. But he went on to say.
Hey, Joe, I don't know if okay, there, I got you. I wasn't sure if something's happened with the audio there for a minute. Sorry, you're saying with 95% of jobs, but he went on to say
that technology will create new jobs.
Yes.
But we don't know if it'll keep up with the jobs that are lost.
Right.
Due to technology.
And yeah, I think it seems as though people are going to, they're at least thinking about having a side hustle, something else to supplement the income. The job stability out there is a little shaky. So when people do get involved in an opportunity like network marketing, some other home-based business, you were saying that when you start, you need to have a clearly defined end game is what I'm calling it, an end, a goal, something to look forward to. Talk to me about why that's so important to have that, crystallized in your mind of where you want to be before you get started.
I stumbled across, I'm going to share my story and how I stumbled across this. In my early 20s, I was quite successful. I managed health and racquetball clubs.
Okay.
After school, after I graduated. And this is where I started to taste freedom. I started to surround myself with people that were playing squash during the day, where most people were working.
Yep.
I loved that lifestyle, right? And I ended up, I did such a great job that the club was sold. And once that club was sold, I stopped working because they didn't offer me a job. I thought I was ignorant to the fact that I thought I would get a profit sharing, but the owners just left.
Yep.
Right? And I promised myself I would never work for someone else again. And that was Christmas 1992. My son was just born. I was newly married a few years. And I came home one afternoon. I can remember a couple months after that. And I started writing down what I wanted my life to look like 10 years from that moment. It was so detailed, the house I wanted to live in. So the first thing I wrote down was a home-based business, because I wanted to spend as much time with my child as possible.
Right.
I wanted the lifestyle. Second thing I did was that I had on the list was passive income. I didn't know it was possible, but I wrote passive income. I thought, I want to play squash during the day, right? I wanted to be flexible. And I was smart enough to know that you need to find a way where you can make passive income. And then the third one on that list was a dream home. You know, a home that I could be proud of, where my kids could grow up, et cetera, et cetera. So that dream became a crusade for me. I fell in love with it.
Right.
I absolutely fell in love with it. You know, I started visualizing what my life would look like every day. I didn't do it every other day. I did it every day. I started writing down every day what my goal was, what my dream was. I started to affirm every day. Every time I look in the mirror, say, I'm so happy and grateful I have this life, God. Thank you, God, right? And I would be very specific with that. So I fell in love with that. I started subscribing to home-based business magazines, started doing research. I started going every day, several times a month, you know, to the library. You know, within a couple of weeks from when I was starting to do all this stuff, a gentleman walked up to me and introduced me to this industry where I could work from home, earn passive income, and eventually go into my dream home. I look back all these years later, Mike, I made that happen.
I was going to say, you weren't seeking him out. This people, places, and things came to you because you were on the right track.
Because I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
The reason why most people don't continue to manifest the things that they don't want is that they spend too much time at the bottom of the disc.
Right.
Whereas when I fell in love with that dream, I was up here.
Yeah.
I was on purpose every day. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but someone introduced me to it. And one of my passions in life is showing people how to manifest things into their life and showing them the secrets to what I've been able to achieve. You know, it wasn't by luck, it was by design.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And some of the things that I've done to speed up that manifestation process.
Right.
So when we're clear, when there's nothing in between us in terms of getting to where we want to go. So when we're clear on what we want, love will overcome everything. It'll move from your head to your heart, eventually into your hands. So quantum physics, I don't want to go too much into this, but quantum physics recently in the last 10 years, which is the science of the universe, have actually done studies and proven thoughts become things. So everything in this world that we have read, all the self-help books from the beginning of the Bible have taught thoughts do become things. And most people, you know, probably in this world today have a semblance of that belief. You know, when people tell them that statement, they kind of think, yeah, I can see that happening, right?
Yep, I think so.
But now science is proving this, right? So I'm sitting in a chair. So I'm sitting in this chair. At the quantum level, this chair is made up of billions of what they call subatomic particles.
Mm-hmm.
Now they recognize these subatomic particles have the thinking stuff behind it. They have their own energy, their own thinking, right?
Right.
So let's say your goal, your dream, you fall in love with this dream, you want a red Corvette. So immediately what happens when you focus on this Corvette and you follow my 5-step manifestation process, visualize it, affirm it every day, go and test drive one so you can feel the leather, write it down every day, right? And take action. So what happens is immediately when that dream becomes, you fall in love with it, in a parallel universe, these subatomic particles start to form into that car. And that car becomes yours in your own parallel universe with a gestation period. And we don't know what that gestation period is.
Joe, I love this so much, man. People think that this is the woo-woo out there, you know, crazy talk stuff. This is the real stuff of how you manifest things into your life. Thank you so much.
And science is proving it.
Yep.
Right?
Parallel universe, different frequency. I mean, I love this.
Yeah. When I wrote that down, I want a home-based business. I want to earn passive income. I want this dream home, right? I fell in love with it. Like it was all encompassing to me. It was my purpose of living. And then 2 weeks later, what happened? This guy out of nowhere just jumped into my life.
That's awesome.
And I was eventually invited to a presentation. And this is where it's real important for people. I'm sitting in the back room of this room. There's about 300 people there. And I didn't know what to expect. within 2 minutes, I had one of those born again Christian moments, right? Where from head to toe, my body was on fire.
Yeah.
God was speaking to me. The universe was speaking to me. Whatever you believe, I was totally on fire. I absolutely knew that this was the vehicle.
Right.
Absolutely
Right.
knew. And that would never happen if I didn't know what my destination was. So here's the thing. For those people that are religious based, we seem to think, or they've read the Bible, that God stopped talking to people since the Bible, right? And only they talk to special people. But I got to tell you, there are defining moments in my life, in our lives, that when we're on track, it comes to us all the time.
Right.
Unfortunately, we do not take action. We just say, well, that was just a coincidence.
Yes.
That was just a coincidence. We'll start making excuses. We're oblivious. And I'll share with you a quick story. And I can remember this like it was yesterday, 1998. And this is 5 years into my entrepreneurial life. And I'm sitting back, and I rarely watched TV at that time outside of sports. And Larry King Live was on. And I happened to stop the channel, was channel surfing. And he was interviewing an author on a book. So at that moment, I was told to go buy that book. I was just told.
Yep.
I knew I had to go buy that book, right? It was the perfect book for where I was at that time. It had, once I read it, I knew why I had to read the book, right? And for very few times in my adult life, I discounted the feeling. I just didn't go and act. 2 years later, almost 2 years later, my daughter was having swimming lessons. There was a library in the rec center. I had some time to kill. So I walked into that library. Guess what I saw? That book was facing me, And I thought, oh my God, I was supposed to read this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't take action.
Yeah.
Right? So when we fall in love with our dream, these things are just put in your lap. After I read that book, I exploded as an entrepreneur.
Right.
My next 4 or 5 years, my income went 100-fold, 1,000-fold.
Wow.
All because of that simple book.
So do you think that we just need to be more aware of when the universe is talking to us so that we can then take action on those opportunities? Or is it that we just aren't, or we're just not tapping into it, or we're not doing the steps to manifest? Obviously, I guess we all have the universe speaking to us. It's how quickly we're able to accelerate that manifestation. Is that right?
Okay. Yeah. So the first step, you got to get clear. You got to know what you want in life.
Yeah.
The reason why most people don't have the universe or God or whatever speak to them, or they don't use their intuition, is there's no destination.
Right.
So they buy.
You're not saying, here's what I want. Show me how to get there.
Correct. Because that's how the world works.
Right.
Right. So, Mike, if I pick you up today and you ask me where we're going, Joe, we need a destination.
Exactly.
If we don't have a destination, you're not going to get in that car. We're just going to go circles. Most of us are so programmed in life, we're just getting by. We're programmed to go through the struggle and effort.
Yep.
Because our religions at times have told us to get closer to God, we need to struggle. That God wants us to be poor. So we've got this entrenched programming into us that we can't go after our dreams to stay safe.
Right.
As long as we have a roof under our head and food on the table, life is going to be good, right?
Right.
Which I'm not judging, but that's not what I wanted.
Exactly.
Right? I wanted a lot more. I wanted to tap into my greatness.
Now, mind you, you'll work hard, but work hard for...
Well, here's the thing. When you fall in love with your dream, you don't have to work as hard.
It certainly doesn't feel like it, I'm sure.
Things will come to you.
Yes. Yes.
People will fall on your lap.
Yes.
You will start listening to your intuition, your Holy Spirit, your internal guidance system. And I always tell people, they always ask me, Joe, how do you know that you're on track? I tell them we have this built-in mechanism inside of us. When we start feeling bad, it's your internal guidance system, your Holy Spirit telling you, Mike, you're off track. You're
Yep.
thinking about everything that you don't want.
Right. Right.
When you start feeling good, that means that you're on track. You're thinking about what you do want in life.
Right.
And most people spend too much time in the rearview mirror on their failures, on the betrayals, on the bad relationships, on the issues of money, because we're programmed to focus on that kind of stuff
Exactly.
on a constant basis, right?
And then when you're
So,
focusing on that negative stuff, it's just you're manifesting more by thinking about it.
well, it's what it's doing. It's affecting your vibrational frequency, and you're down here on this disc, and you need to be up on here.
Yeah.
So good way to keep your thought, because it's almost impossible. It's impossible to manage your thoughts, right? We have these billions of thoughts, but what you can do is manage your feelings. So if you start to feel bad, you start to feel off, and you do that more often than you feel good, you're in trouble. You're spiraling away down to that bottom disc, and you're going to manifest things that are down in that bottom disc. But when you're up here, you're at a high vibrational frequency,
right,
where you're going to attract great things into your life. And as human beings, we need to focus our time daily to be up here.
Yes.
And I got a system that I do every day to make sure that I'm up here, so that I'm, really giving value, really increasing my vibrational level, so I can attract more stuff into my life.
So Joe, how can people get a hold of you to find out how you do that, to get your system, to find out how to, stay in that high vibration mode? Can you comment on the comments below how people can get a hold of you, Joe?
Yeah. You can email me at joegarcia@gmail.com.
Okay.
Do that.
Good stuff.
And I can send. I've actually done training on the 5 steps to manifestation and how to stay up there.
Right.
When you're consciously doing that on a daily basis, you're going to build the habits that will help you stay up there.
Right.
And one of the things I use, Mike, a little tip for everybody, one of the challenges that we have in life is our thoughts, right?
Absolutely.
Our thoughts are chaotic. Our thoughts are not on track. We tend to go into the negative, the worry, the fear, that kind of stuff. And that's all habitual thinking. This is something that we've been taught to do.
Sure.
Right? So I have a process called the 10-day mental diet that I've used for years.
Okay.
So your goal for 10 days is get through 10 days where you're not thinking of negativity. So so let's say you start from day 1, and day 1, 2, 3, you're on fire, and something happens day 4, and you don't catch yourself within 30 seconds to change that negativity to positivity.
Right.
Then you got to start all over again, day 1.
Okay.
So sometimes it may take people 6 months to go through the 10-day mental diet.
Right.
But what this does is it builds the mental muscle and trains you.
I like that. Yeah. I like that.
So when you're having a challenge in life, you have an argument. So now you're training your brain to look for solutions rather than going to the fear and the worry.
And like you said, it's hard to control your thoughts, but it's your reactions to them. So when a negative does come, it's correcting that with a positivity mindset after that happens, just so that we don't get overcome with those negative thoughts.
Yeah.
I like it.
And these are just things because I had the desire to improve. I desire to grow, which everyone has. I had this light inside of me that everybody has. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, everywhere I go in the world, I tell them that God doesn't make junk.
That is true.
Right? And just think about God is the creator of everything, creator of the universe, created us, whatever your spiritual beliefs are. But the essence of life is that we can do anything that God's created us to do.
I believe that to be true.
And God does not make junk. And, Mike, I'll just tell you a quick little story. A couple of months ago, I had a friend of mine who was a born-again Christian. And he's an entrepreneur, and he's been struggling for a few years. So he came down to me, sat down with me for lunch. And I knew something was wrong. He wasn't the same vibrant guy. And I asked him how everything goes. And he was the kind of guy that would preach to me every time we met. Every time we got on the phone, he would pick up a Bible principle, or, he was so educated, so endeared with his newfound religion for the last 5 years. And I asked him what's his struggle. And he went on and on and on about his struggle. And then I asked him, you really don't believe in God. And it was like I punched him right in between the eyes. He was so angry. How can you say that? I've been preaching to you for years, blah, blah, blah. I go, listen, in the Bible it says we were made in the likeness of God. And I said, what does that mean to you? And he said, well, Joe, we're great. We can do anything. He went on. He said all the right things, right? I said, then why are you struggling? If you really believe in God, you really believe in your greatness and what you can do, just think about in our lifetime, Mike, the advancements of technology, all created by men and women, by thought, right? Just think of what we can do today compared to 15, 20 years ago. That was all created by conscious thought.
I totally agree.
And I said, well, if you really believe with your greatness, then you've got to really believe. If you really believe in God's greatness, you got to really believe in you. You got to really believe in what you can do. And he was just starting to tear up and questioning his faith and everything else. And that wasn't my intention. I really wanted to get him grounded to the essence of what we can do as human beings.
Right.
I always tell people, I go globally. I've traveled to all over the world. It's made me who I am. I've stayed humble, and people look at me as the special guy, right? Because I've achieved so much. And I'm that still same guy that got started in 1993. More importantly, I just tell them I wasn't a special guy. I just had a dream.
Right.
And I fell in love with that dream.
Yep.
And that dream caused me to grow and develop. And I promised myself I would never quit. My bridges were burnt.
That's
I
it.
I would never even think of going there. Never even think of going. And because of that consistency, commitment, it allowed me to even manifest more. Whereas most people will do what they will do. Yeah, I think I've fallen in love with my dream, but I'm going to try this.
Right.
The worst three-letter word in the English language. Because try means you're not going to do it.
Right.
And they're always giving themselves a way out just in case
Exactly.
things don't work out. You have that mindset, you're down here. And what will happen when you're down here? The lower disc.
Not
lower
much.
Disc,
A whole lot of negativity.
Anything.
Yeah.
It's that higher disc that makes things grow and develop.
Wow. Awesome. I gotta go get vibrating higher.
Yeah.
I love it, Joe. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I'll share with you one more story, Mike.
Yeah, shoot.
And this was, I always start people with The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace Wattles. I recommend everyone to get that book as a first book to read because it's a simple read, but it teaches people the laws of the universe. And these are laws written, in the universe, Upanishads, right? The law of attraction.
Yes.
What we focus on is what we attract, right? What we sow is what we reap, vacuum law of prosperity, right? Which means in order for new things to come in your life, you got to get rid of the old. You want a new closet? Got to get rid of the clothes, some of the clothes that you have, right? Right. Even if you can't afford it, new things will appear in your life, right?
Get it, yeah.
Yes. What we give comes back.
Yes.
So one of my first trips in 1996 was in Mexico, in Merida, Mexico, which is in the Yucatan Peninsula where Cancun is, right? Beautiful little city. I'm in the city, and I'm there working, right? I'm there. It was my first trip outside of Canada, U.S. And I'm in this cafe after a long day, several meetings I did, and I'm sitting down, and I see this little child. My daughter was 2 years old at the time, so a 2-year-old baby holding a 6-month-old, and she was going to every tourist that was sitting in that cafe. And it was full of Europeans, Canadians, and Americans. And I couldn't believe my eyes. One right after the other, ignored this 2-year-old baby. So you think when we're on vacation, we're traveling, we close our eyes to a lot of this stuff,
Yes.
right? We don't want to see this.
True.
It's just human nature, right? But I couldn't believe adults ignoring these beautiful children, a baby. You know, when you see a baby anywhere, you want to hug it, you want to hold it, because it's vibrating at such a big level. So now I'm seeing, by this time I'm tearing up because I can visualize my daughter doing this, and I can't see, things must be really tough for those parents to send their kids out. I'm looking around to see if I can see those parents. And that child comes to me. Okay? I go into my pocket without even thinking, and I end up giving her all my money I had. Not just that day, for my whole trip. This is 1996. So in Mexico, 1996, debit cards weren't around. It was hard to get cash.
Wow.
Credit cards, you couldn't use credit cards in every place, right? So it was a cash society. And I gave her all my money, I realized. Not at that moment, but I gave her all that money. And she took the money and she ran, because they're taught, when you grab the money, just run,
yep.
Right? And I'm watching her, and this time I'm just really bawling. And about 100 yards away, she stops. So I'm still, and we have eye contact. And I can see into her eyes. Because at that moment, she realized that she had a lot of money in her hand, right?
Right.
And I could actually see into her eyes. Her eyes were very piercing, green. And I could see it into her soul at that moment. And she could see into mine. Like, we just had this beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And she was saying, thank you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm still, very emotional.
And do you think that she knew that how much that was going to change her life, that money, or?
Well, I think she got all that rejection. And not even rejection, people didn't even notice her.
Right.
And I think by noticing her, that was her soul connecting with mine, I guess.
Yeah.
And plus, she realized she had a lot of money.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And she stopped, and then she disappeared. It was like a beautiful 30 seconds. And I got still that memory implanted in my mind, right? That month I came home, it was pretty tough that week going without any cash. And I got home, and I earned more money that month out of nowhere than I did the previous 5 months together. Right? And it was incredible. And it was one of the things that I learned about the laws. We always read about it. We give at church, tithe, right? But to do something like that, I really started understanding. My conscious level got to the point where these are scripted laws, and I just follow them. Great things will happen to me.
Exactly.
Right? Great things will happen to me, right? So it was one of those defining moments in life that make a huge difference to the future.
Yep.
Like what happened to me in 1993.
See, some people think that, or they wish that, you give something away and get an immediate return, or go into it expecting a return. And I highly doubt that you expected the return of having the best income month to date when you gave that wallet up. It just it happened because that was the law.
Right. It's kind of like what we're doing here today, right?
Yeah.
I've had organizations pay me $10,000 an hour.
I know this.
So when I started, I wouldn't even think of doing something like that. You know, public speaking was my worst nightmare. But what you're doing, Mike, and I want to edify you, what you're doing is value without any return. You're bringing on speakers on here. You're bringing on educated people.
Thank you.
People of value, and without any expectation on your behalf. You know, so
that is the truth. Thank you.
To get on Facebook Live, to do stuff like this is not easy. When you speak from your heart. And I get a lot of requests, and I don't want to sound arrogant, but that's not who I am. I get a lot of requests. I'm very careful who I surround myself with or attach myself to.
Yes.
Because a lot of people do have agendas, you know, and when I first chatted with you, I had shared that with you, right?
Yes, you certainly did.
This is my rules, and even though we were connected through a friend, I wanted to make sure that your agenda was pure and clean.
Yes. For
this to work, you know?
Well, listen, I appreciate that you recognize that, and I didn't expect you to say that, but that is the truth. Is I'm really just trying to create a platform for people to connect, who want to better themselves, who want to get spinning on that higher frequency and live the life that they truly desire and deserve, right? So thanks, Joe. I really appreciate it. And whoever is watching, just know that we've just spent 45 minutes, like you said, with someone who normally gets paid tens of thousands of dollars to share this same kind of information. So guys, you got a big treat and a big bonus today by tuning in with to see Joe here. So thanks again, Joe. I really appreciate
Mike,
it.
Mike, we'll do it again. Anything I can do to help?
Awesome. We've just scratched the surface of how to, manifest your greatness. So I know that there is going to be.
Let me give everyone my 5 steps.
Let's do it. Let's hear it.
And we'll end with this, right? So the first step is you got to have your dream. Very specific. It has to be specific. It can't be, I want to become a financial independent, or I want to become a millionaire, because the subconscious mind, the universe doesn't know what that means.
Right.
Right? You need to be very specific so these quantum particles can
start aligning. Yeah.
Aligning, okay? So if it's general, it's not going to work. Okay? So if people have a difficult time because we've been programmed not to dream, start writing down a list of what you don't want in life. And then you can come up with what you do, right? So second thing you need to do, so now you've got it very clear. Second thing you need to do, people believe in dream boards, cutting up pictures.
Right.
Visual is critical too, right?
Right.
So let's say if it's a dream home, take some pictures of your dream home. For me, I had it in my bedroom. I had it in my ceiling on my wall. I had $1 million bill on my ceiling for years. That's what I woke up to.
Yeah.
I had my office. I carried it around with me. Right. So it was, I put a dot on my watch, nail polished up, because when how many times do you look at a watch or a phone now? That represents our dream.
Right.
Right.
Just a visual cue. Yeah.
Correct. So that's the second thing you must do. Third thing is you need to write it down every day. Critical. Okay. Not only write it down. So in my planner, I write down my dream every day. Okay. So along with writing it down, I create these affirmations with writing it down. So every time I look myself in the mirror, I say my affirmation, right?
Yep.
The more you say it, the words that we say to ourselves are really powerful. So one of the affirmations I've had for years, I will win. Why? I'll tell you why. Because faith, courage, enthusiasm. Today I'll meet the right people, the right time, in the right place for betterment of it all. I seek opportunity at every challenge. I'm terrific at remembering names. When I fail, I look at what I did right, not at what I did wrong. I clearly have defined goals and never take advice from anyone myself than I am. I'm a winner, a contributor, and a believer. I believe in me. That was something that was hung on my shower for years. Now I just...
You got that committed to memory for sure.
Correct.
Wow.
The fourth thing that you need to do is you need to get yourself in the position that you've already achieved the dream.
Right.
So if your goal is a red Corvette or a certain BMW or a Lexus, go to a dealership. Go rent that car out. go for a test drive, rent that car out for a day. You know, even it costs you $500, go and do that.
Let the smell hit your nostrils. Yeah.
You feel like you've already achieved it.
Right.
You're in that car and you've already feel it. So this will help you with the 5th step. And that 5th step is visualizing like you already have it. Play the movie in your mind, especially before you fall asleep.
Right.
Do not fall asleep with negativity. Fall asleep with your dream, visualizing that you already have it. So when my dreams that I had, those 3, you know, which really constituted 1, I was visualizing that every day.
Yeah.
Not every other day, not once a week, not once a month, every day. So Mike, when you fall in love with something, so when you fell in love with your wife and you're recording her, you didn't have to think, oh my God, I got to go and think about my dream now. I got to focus on my dream now, right? Or focus on thinking about her. It just came naturally because you fell in love with her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what your dream needs to be, where all hours of the day, it's in front of you.
Right.
You know, it's in your thoughts. And when you do that, you're going to manifest. So those are the 5 things. And the reason why you want to do it every day, and I'll leave you with this one last thing. I'm known as the one last thing, by the way, is NASA did an experiment 7 years ago. So they took a bunch of astronauts and put these concave glasses on. These concave glasses made them look upside down 24/7.
Okay.
Okay. So just imagine if you're in this study, what it would drive you crazy.
Oh.
You know, walking around seeing upside down, right? You know that every single individual astronaut saw right side up 26 days later, wearing those glasses.
Really?
They did a second study where they changed the study by 1 day, where they had to take off the glasses on day 16. And then for 24 hours,
right?
And then started on the day 17. You know that just missing that 1 day, it took that second group of astronauts additional 26 days to see right side up.
Really?
So this concluded what I always expected, right? Is when you are focused on what you want in life and you create habits for 25, 26, 27 days, it starts to become yours. Right. You will start manifesting in your life. But if you just miss 1 day, it stops the momentum right away.
Wow. It's pretty
so
powerful.
Just think about if you're in that study, what are your thoughts? Can't wait till I get these glasses off. It's driving me crazy. It's making me sick. Your thoughts are all on seeing right side up.
Yeah.
So by day 26 of those consistent thoughts, your brain, the neuron pathways in the brain made it happen for you.
That's incredible.
But missing 1 day, you're never enough. It stopped the momentum totally and started the clock all over again.
Wow.
And that's what I've experienced with people over the years. The reason why I am where I am today, I stayed consistent all these years.
That's it.
Miss 1 day, you're starting from scratch. Miss 1 day, starting from scratch. Miss 1 day, starting from scratch. This is why you see entrepreneurs, they'll go and do something for 5 days. Something happens in their life and they disappear for 3 days.
Yep.
Oh, I got to start back again.
Yep.
And they never build enough momentum in their lives to manifest those things in their lives. So this is not a once a week thing or once a month thing. This is a 24/7.
See it through to the end.
Life. The lifestyle will change and you will be able to help a lot more money, a lot more people out there.
Yes. Yes.
So a great way to end,
awesome.
End the Facebook Live.
Awesome. Joe, thank you so much. Yeah, I know your time is very valuable. So thank you for spending the time with us and helping us reach out to people and improve their lives. So, all right, I'll let you get going here as we move on with crystallizing and visualizing our dreams and goals and get vibrating on that higher level. So thanks again, Joe. You take care.
Great. Thanks.
Have yourself a great night.
Take care. Bye-bye. Have a great night.
Bye-bye. Wow. I'll tell you, Joe is an incredible, incredible man. And I'm just holding my hands up here in the background as my kids are just ready to jump all over me because they've been waiting to snuggle up to their old man. But I'll tell you, guys, that's it. So take Joe's steps and learn how to manifest all of your dreams and goals, because it really can be done. And for people who think that it's just, crazy talking to yourself and doing dream boards and all that kind of stuff, it's quantum science. It's proven. So let's make it happen for yourselves, guys. Yeah. Whoever doesn't realize who Joe Garcia is, look him up. whyjoe.com. Joe's going to post his contact information down here, and just realize the power of the gentleman that we just had on. Absolutely incredible. So, moving forward on next episode of Mind, Body, Bank Account, episode number 16, we're switching things up a little bit here. We're looking strictly at the body, and we're going to be talking all about clean and healthy eating. So, what you put in truly does manifest in your life, and so goes the same with food. So we're going to be talking with my good friend Anna Muley about eating healthy, clean eating, putting the good in so that you can get the good out in life. It's all about the goodness, baby, on Mind, Body, Bank Account. Listen for us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. Take care, everybody. Remember, keep your mind open, your body strong, and your bank account growing. Bye-bye.